Hello, folks. Welcome back. We are back once again. It's the Harsh Language Podcast. Another one. Episode 102.
Yep. 102.
Yep. And we're in college now, baby.
The Harsh Language Podcast, the college years.
You know what this is? You don't know that reference. Don't laugh.
I do not, but it was funny, though.
It's Kanye.
Oh, fuck Kanye.
Graduation. No, that was college dropout.
Dusty, could you move your camera just a little bit? I feel like you're inside Marvin.
Yep. Yep.
We're conjoined twins.
That's what it looks like. That's a good idea for like a sitcom. Interracial conjoined twins.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Just like living life.
Yep. From completely different sides of the tracks. I think that would be good.
Oh fuck.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
So little housekeeping before we get into the episode. I just wanted to announce to the world and all our listeners that we now have a Discord, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's right. A Harsh Language Podcast Discord where you could join the community and talk about movies and shows and things and all that good stuff. There'll be a link probably somewhere in our profile or in the video description if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
We don't have a verb-friendly URL.
No, we don't have
we're not that big.
We don't get a custom URL.
Discord.gg/harsh language.
I think we need like 10,000 members or something.
No. You actually get it with just a couple boosts. You need to be like a level 3 boosted or something like that.
Pay for it.
Oh.
Well, no. Everybody who has Discord Nitro gets a free boost. So, if you've got that and you're part of the Discord, boost it up. We can get banners and cool stuff. We get custom like emotes and all sorts of stuff, extra soundboards. But yeah, anyhow, that's not important. The important thing is you can come in and share your thoughts on stuff and join the conversation. Make recommendations for stuff that we should make Marvin watch. We got one already. I don't know if you guys saw it from the homeboy Gore.
We got 2, I think.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah, Gore.
Master and Commander and Little Miss Sunshine, I believe. 2 great movies. So
yeah,
those will be considered. But yeah,
and maybe we can do some watch along sometime.
Yeah.
Watch some movies
down the road. Maybe do some.
Discord is the best place for that type of thing. Can't do it on streaming or anything. So
no, Discord's a great community builder. So we definitely want to use it for that. So yeah, so check out that link if you're interested, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, episode 102. We got a good show today. The Ghost with the Most is back, and we're talking about him later on. Beetlejuice is what we're talking about today. But before that, what have you guys been up to? Anything cool and interesting going on?
Just planning to moving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My thing back there is thinning out, as you can see. Most of the stuff is kind of gone. Got like a candle, a couple things.
Got to keep the candle up.
Boxing it up. You having stuff shipped across in a box, or are you moving? Yeah,
most of the stuff is getting shipped.
I'm feeling left out. You guys both move. I might just move just to be part of the group,
I don't envy anybody that has to move. I've got to move again, so I'm not looking forward to it.
But yours ain't for a while.
I don't have to. No, probably at the end of the year, moving out of an apartment and into a house.
Oh, so a few months.
That's a good move.
That's a good upgrade.
Yeah. It's for a couple years, and then we'll see after that. Might have to move again.
And Marvin, you said you're moving in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
You were telling us. So you're not taking it. You're just like throwing shit away and
throwing shit away, giving shit away,
selling stuff,
mailing the rest.
Okay.
There you go.
Are you gonna?
I'm gonna try to sell my desk, but if no one wants to buy it, I'm gonna give it away.
Why, are you gonna get a new one?
I'll just it'll be cheaper than trying to get it shipped.
Shipping is expensive.
Shipping is just too expensive.
I remember
we don't want to have to deal with like a U-Haul, and because we got my car and I'm not.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Got the pets.
If something's nice enough, you could put it next to a dumpster and somebody will still take it.
You said pets plural. You taking both the dog and the cat?
Yep.
I thought the dog was your in-laws.
No.
A C's dog?
C's dog, yeah.
Okay. That'd be a fun little drive.
Yep. But we're going to the vet to get them some anxiety stuff to help
Okay.
With the drive.
How long is the drive?
It's like maybe 300 miles or 30, something like that. But we're gonna split it up over 5 days.
Yeah, take a nice little road trip out of it.
Yeah,
that's a long ways.
Yeah, I forgot the exact mileage, but
whatever you do, just don't stay at any creepy rest stops. I've seen enough horror movies.
Nah.
And don't go through any fucking sundown towns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because those still exist.
I figure it'd be about $2,000, 2,500, 3,200 is a long ways.
Sorry, I misspoke. It's 2,300 miles.
Yeah,
or about 2,400 miles.
It's like 2,000 miles coast to coast.
Yeah.
So you gotta go from like
basically
Maine to
do
Maine
the 30,
to Southern California to do like 3,300 miles in the U.S.
Or like that's true. Yeah.
That'd be a nice little trip, though. It's gotta be fun. I mean, it's you're moving, so it's not super fun, but it's still kind of fun. I feel like road trips are always
fun. We're splitting it up, so it'll be good. So 5 days.
If you live in the U.S., you should drive across the U.S. It's an experience.
Yeah, I bet. I've always wanted to do it, never have. Are you taking 2 cars, Marvin? Is there 2 cars you got to take, or just one?
Just one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, have you been watching anything, or just kind of just working on moving stuff?
I haven't been watching much. I tried to start watching that Vince Vaughn show, and I couldn't really get into it, but I'll go back to it. Yeah. Something about seeing people older. It's like kind of like fucking with me.
Really?
And that's kind of a segue of the movie we were watching. Seeing that girl Lydia a little older was like kind of weird.
Weird in terms of like you're facing your own mortality and age, or
maybe, yeah.
Okay, you're having a little bit of a crisis. I understand.
Yeah,
we all go through it. It is a little bit weird, especially when you watch these movies. Like, yeah, no, it's definitely weird. My dad does that all the time. Like, I'll show him somebody, and he'll be like, "Damn, he fucking got old." But like, because it makes him feel old, right?
Yeah.
Recently, I showed him, I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's been going around on TikTok and like other social media, but I don't even know if you're familiar with the band, but there was a group from the 50s and 60s, just whatever, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. They had a lot of hits.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Frankie Valli, he was known for his tenor singing where he would go like really fucking high with it.
Yeah.
And, well, he's still on tour. And people have been posting videos of it, and it's just him, like this feeble 900-year-old man, lip syncing to his own songs, but like barely lip syncing. Like I'm talking like he's just
lazy.
And I'm like, I showed my dad. I was like, wow, this is mortifying. Like, first of all, I feel bad for him. That's like elder abuse. Second of all, who would pay to go see this guy?
That's terrible.
My dad was
he's 90.
My dad was like, I'd go to see him. I'm like, what the fuck? You're paying hundreds of dollars to not even see the performance. He's like, yeah, but you're seeing the guy. I'm like, that's so stupid.
Fuck that.
It's not a zoo.
I've been to Ozfest several times, and Ozzy Osbourne gets less and less entertaining every year. Well, I mean,
these fucking guys are old.
He would just kind of stand there and bounce his leg and rock a little bit because he's like almost 90.
Yeah, he ain't eating the heads off of bats anymore. That's for sure.
Nah.
And that's not to say old people can't perform, because I've heard the Rolling Stones still put on a fucking hell of a show. Like I've heard Mick Jagger like still fucking rocks the fuck out on stage.
The Boss still going strong.
I saw, you guys know I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan. I saw Dylan probably around like 2012, 2014, like in that area. And he was old as fuck. It was still a good show. A lot of people criticize his voice now as very gravelly and old school. But like in that regard, I get it. Like I get where my dad's coming from. It's like, well, you're seeing a legend live, so there's like something to be said for that. But it was still a good show, I guess. I don't know. I just wouldn't. I mean, to see Frankie Valli stand there and like as like a meat puppet, just like a marionette doll, fucking.
I ain't wasting my money on that shit.
I don't know if I'd want to go see that. I just feel bad. It's just like, I don't know. It's weird. So you did you not like the show or what? Bad Monkey.
Oh, I didn't watch enough of it. I got to go back to it.
I will say this.
I just couldn't get into it at the time.
I was recommending it to you guys. I still think it's good. I will say this. If you're going into it expecting like Vince Vaughn from old school, that's not what you're gonna get. He's a much more subdued version of himself, and I think that's just the character / like the show, because it's like it takes place in Florida and it's like in paradise, so like you're just kind of like relaxed. But he's not the same Vince Vaughn. I don't think. It's a
bit of a noir detective story.
Kind of, yeah, but I don't think they wanted to like fully unleash Vince Vaughn, like the Vince Vaughn that you know what I mean? So just don't go into it expecting that. But it is funny. I think it is funny, and he's funny, and there are very funny moments, but it's not funny like old school. You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you watched anything else?
I have not.
I've been slacking on the watching too, as you guys know. Tarkov wiped again, so I've been playing a lot of that. I think I told you guys last week, but I've been going to bed late. Fuck my whole life up, bro. My sleep schedule's fucked. I'm not fucking editing videos for the podcast. It's just Tarkov.
Shambles. Bullshit.
Working Tarkov. But I'm reaching my point of boredom, so get back on track. But yeah, no, I haven't watched anything. I was actually letting Bad Monkey build up a little bit before I revisited it, because fuck that week to week shit.
Yeah.
How about you, Dusty? Have you been watching anything?
Not really. Watched the first 2 episodes of the Rings of Power.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's 4 episodes out right now. I think the first 2. It's all right. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's it's about Sauron making the rings for.
Yeah, no, I think everybody. The concept.
In the
is
first
great.
season, he made the rings for the elves, and in this one, it's about making the rings for the dwarves and the humans.
So
is it as good as a prequel as House of the Dragon?
Depends who you ask, I would just say.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I'll say to anybody that wants to be a critic of this stuff.
Not real.
If you read the books, and you love the lore, you're probably gonna have some problems with any show that's ever made.
Right.
If you've never read the lore and you're just kind of a casual fan and you're okay with the story, like there are people who think The Witcher is great. Right, Dan?
Not listen to me right now. There is
casual. I'm talking about casually. Yeah, there's people who love the lore and are pissed off about a show that does it dirty.
Yeah.
And there are casual fans who don't know much about it, can still enjoy it for what it is.
Yes.
There's
100%.
You have those 2 types. And so I think the Rings of Power, like, I don't know. It's fine for me. I'm not upset or pissed off about it, but I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna keep watching it.
I'm a gambling man, and I would wager that there is nobody that has read the books or played the games that likes the Witcher series on Netflix. It just can't be. It's impossible.
Oh yeah,
it's impossible.
Probably not. You're probably right.
I have not started Rings of Power yet. I slept on the first season because there was like a lot of mixed stuff about it, and I just kind of never ended up watching it. I want to go back and watch it. Marvin, I don't know if you've listened to the noise surrounding it because you haven't seen the film, so maybe you just ignore it, but like people were mad in the first season that the elves weren't like fucking what real elves would look like. Of course, like there were black elves, and like that angered everybody.
Yeah, multiracial elves, and not all the female elves, so they didn't have beards, I think.
So like who fucking cares?
There was some lore breaking stuff. Yeah.
From what I've seen, most of the complaints were from fans of the films. Okay. And for people who were like fans of just the Lord of the Rings, from books to movies and everything, seem to really like this, and they say it's the closest thing to recreating Peter Jackson's trilogy that they've seen, and da-da-da-da-da. It's also taken from what's called the Silmarillion. So Marvin, Tolkien, and I'm fucking hope I don't fuck anything up here because I'm going to get murdered in my sleep by a fan, but Tolkien wrote The Hobbit first originally. It was a children's book. It was about Bilbo Baggins, who goes on this adventure and da-da-da-da. Well, years later, he then released the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which fleshes out the rest of that story. Okay? And that is the main character of that. One of the main characters is Bilbo's nephew, Frodo. Well, then, years after that, his son, I think it was after he died, his son and like somebody, I think his editor or somebody, put together like these scraps, these journal entries, all this collection of all his like writings that he did over the years, which were like amendments to the stories and journals and fucking all sorts of crazy scattered thoughts. And they put it together in what's called the Silmarillion, and it's all like these short stories and stuff that really
canonized his notes.
They basically canonized his notes and his amendments and stuff. And there's like stuff in the Silmarillion that like corrects characters' arcs from Lord of the Rings, and it just fully fleshes it out. From what I've heard, the Rings of Power show is like plucked straight from like the Silmarillion, so it's like very accurate to his vision, which, you know, I think is a cool thing. I don't really know. I didn't really get too in the weeds about it, because as soon as I hear critiques about like, oh, there's a fucking Chinese elf, I'm just like, okay. But yeah, so all that to say, I haven't watched it yet. I am excited to, because, you know, I love me some Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I liked like 2 videos on TikTok that were Lord of the Rings based, and now my whole fucking For You page is like Lord of the Rings stuff, so I'm winning, baby.
Shout out to China.
Have you watched anything else or what?
No, I don't think that I've watched anything else. Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head that's no, I'm just waiting on new shows to start.
Speaking of watching stuff, Marvin, you could help me with this because you're the Reddit god. Folks, if you don't know this, Marvin basically invented Reddit. He could find anything on Reddit. If you lost your car keys, ask Marvin. He'll find it on Reddit.
Yep.
You could help me out. Back to the Discord thing. I was working on like some bots and stuff to, you know, make the experience cooler. Yeah. One of them I saw, there was a Rotten Tomatoes bot where you could like /search a movie and it gives you all like the ratings and stuff, but it doesn't seem to be working. I would love it if you could, Marvin, for me. I'm going to give you a little homework. If you could find a bot similar that pulls like movie ratings from IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or something within the Discord, that'd be very cool. With the command. Also, one other thing I wanted to do, and maybe we could add this to the Discord, we'll talk about it later, if we maybe share our movie lists, our watch lists. I don't know if that's possible.
You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that.
No? Okay.
It's just so much.
I know. I know. All right.
Infinite.
Just stuff to talk about and think about.
You saw Interstellar, right? Where he was
sure
like
have, yeah.
in the bookshelf.
That's your watch
list?
list?
Like my watch list.
That's so funny.
And him screaming at himself is me screaming at myself to stop adding things to the watch list.
No, that's you screaming at yourself to not start a new show and finish the X-Files. So like, no.
Oh, the X-Files.
Come on.
I'm finishing
X-Files.
to
watch Shogun.
Speaking of Shogun, it's coming up on my list. Yeah, we might as well just get into the news. Big week. It was the Emmys, right? Or something? Emmys, yeah. Shogun fucking cleaned house. I had sent it to you guys. I'm sure, Dusty, you have it pulled up, but let's just get right into the news. Dusty was a newsman in a former life. He's our muckraker here at the Harsh Language Podcast, so he gets us all the entertainment news of the week. Take it away, Mr. Dusty.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
14 Emmys, an all-time record for a single season.
Which is crazy.
What the headline is.
That's crazy because Breaking Bad like used to fucking clean house at the Emmys. So Shogun broke a record, 14 Emmys for a single season.
Yep.
Okay.
Insane. That's
huge. Oh, real quick before we get into news, what was the other thing I shared with you guys? I had shared something else. Hang on, let me find it. Oh, I mean, obviously, we got this will be a segue, I'm sure. But yeah, so before we get into the news, well, it is part of the news, but we have to give a shout out and tip our caps to a legend who has passed away, James Earl Jones. You guys saw that, I'm assuming?
Yep, I saw that, yes.
93?
I saw it, yeah, when it was posted.
Very sad.
Yep.
Yeah, we had just talked about his birthday, I think.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know. No, actually, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast. Maybe we did, but I did tweet him a happy birthday when he turned 93.
I did see that, yeah. I wonder if, I mean, he's 93, so I'm sure when you're that age, you realize your days are numbered, but not to be a dick. But because it was only recently he gave the rights away for his voice, right, to Disney.
Oh, the AI voice thing
to have him continue
Vader?
Being Vader. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure. So I'm sure his estate makes money off that. Still.
100%. Yeah.
So his family will get to continue making money off that. So that's awesome. I think.
There's a big stink about this in the industry because people talk about famous, like there's sportscasters, like there was a sportscaster, I think it was Al Michaels, signed a deal that said that they could use his voice. The NFL could use his voice going forward in the future. Mm-hmm. And people, people are like, you're taking sportscasters out of new, young and upcoming sportscasters out of the job by saving your voice and only using your voice. And I'm like, well, you don't use it as like a live cast. You use it on special occasion stuff. Like I get, like James Earl Jones was Mufasa and Vader were I think his two most iconic, but he's done dozens of very, very familiar voiceovers besides his amazing acting career, which spans 40 years, 50 years.
What were you going to say, Marvin?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I was going to say anything. Just agreeing.
Oh, yeah. No, I was going to say, is there an actor that has like more of a pop culture impact than he has? I mean, the voice of Darth Vader alone, like
crazy.
Darth Vader is inarguably the most iconic villain of all time. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, Mufasa too, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mufasa's like the second most like iconic voice, and he did both of them. And that both of those movies have made such an impact on pop culture. I was just stressing the Vader part of it because, like, if humanity fucking died and like centuries later, some alien fucking explorers like visited Earth, like they would find memorabilia of Darth Vader. Like, it's that, like he's that iconic of a character. Like, yeah. The humanity will never forget about Darth Vader ever. So,
nope.
I'm just curious: is there anybody that has had a cultural impact as big as that? I don't think there is, personally. Like,
no,
I couldn't think of one off the top of my head if there was. But yep. So shout out to James Earl Jones, rest in peace. What a career and aside from, like you just said, aside from his iconic voices, he was a great actor, and in some fucking banger movies over the years. And he's been in like all sorts of movies, genres. I mean, talk about having an impact. As a child, forget Lion King. That movie, of course, holds a very special place in my heart. But even more so, the fucking Sandlot, where he played Mr. Myrtle. Oh my God, George signed that. Oh my God, the day I die, that dialogue is gonna play in my head when he's like. Babe Ruth signed this, the kid? And he goes, that's right. And the rest of the 1927 Yankees or whatever the year was. So good. What a great movie that is. I'm surprised you've seen it, Marvin. But yeah, so shout out to James Earl Jones. Thank you for your contribution. So what other news did you have for us, Dusty?
Okay, well, we can go over the Emmy winners real quick. Again, obviously, Shogun 14 awards. The Bear won 7. Obviously, it's controversial. Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Whatever. Following behind that, we had Saturday Night Live, Jim Henson's Idea Man, Blue-Eyed Samurai, and then it goes into not a whole lot. Surprisingly, Morning Show got a couple, but Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I was surprised. I wonder what those for. I don't know what the categories were. I just know they won 2, but I have not watched that yet.
Didn't Blue Eye Samurai do something cool in terms of like award? Like, wasn't it something like big? Like, wasn't it like not a record breaker, or wasn't it something? I don't know. Maybe I misread it.
But if you want to go through the awards by distributor, FX had 27. Because they have The Bear and, I believe, Shogun. Okay. Right? Netflix is second with 18. Apple TV, third with 15. This is a streaming service nobody watches. Disney
what was the
Plus
first?
With 9. FX at 27. because they do Shogun and The Bear. Like FX is killing it. They have good shows right now. FX always does pretty good.
FX has always had good shows from their from the time that they started. Right? They did The Shield. They did that show Rescue Me with Dennis Leary. I don't know if you remember that. Rescue Me was so fucking good.
Yeah.
FX has always had good shows. They for the majority, they still run It's Always Sunny. Like they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. Well, that's cool. Congrats to the
Prime,
winners.
Prime Video in last with 4. Prime Video only got 4 awards at the Emmys. So
oh fuck! I just pulled up a list of like some of their best shows. You got like What We Do in the Shadows, Sons of Anarchy, Sunny, The Americans, American Horror Story, The Shield, Fargo, Rescue Me, The Bear, Legion.
Wasn't the vampire show FX?
Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows. That's right. Yeah.
Still irritates me that you haven't seen that.
The movie? Oh, Legion.
No, the show. Yeah.
I added it to my list.
Good. Put it on the list.
It's there.
All right.
List. That's like saying.
Let's move on to
what
the
is
rest.
it?
Yeah.
The list is like, you know, when you say something like that lets someone know you're never gonna. Just adding it to the list is kind of like that at this point.
It's like when you run into like an old...
It's the honeydew list. It's ever growing.
Yeah, honeydew. Well, yeah, honey, I'll do that. No, it's like when you run into like an old classmate or somebody you knew, and you're like, "Oh man, we should get together," and it's like, "Yeah,
for sure."
It just never happens.
Yeah,
that's the list.
Give me a call.
No, I will watch Legion eventually. Eventually, listen, I have a plan. I'm gonna finish Lady in the Lake. I'm going to finish Bad Monkey. Then I'm going to binge watch Rings of Power. That should bring me into that should bring me into the release of season 2 of Silo, which is on November. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And if I finish
Silo's coming back before Severance?
Yes.
That's interesting.
And if I finish my things before Silo is released, I will then start Shogun, because Shogun's high on the list. I want to finish Shogun before the end of the year. Too. I'm just not gonna lie to you. Legion's like on the list, but it's like kind of lower on there. Yeah.
It's hanging on by a thread.
No, it's that cat in the poster of just like hanging in there.
Well,
what else you got, Dusty?
All right, let's get into the news then. Josh Brolin reportedly offered the Hal Jordan role in the upcoming Lantern series. Did you guys see that?
I saw that, and I swiftly consulted Ed. Speaking of the Discord, too, and Ed, shout out. I'm going to give Ed, I think, his own role that just says Ed. Ed, shout out. I think maybe just for the memes. I got to get his permission first, but I think I'll do that. It'll be funny. I promptly consulted him, and I was like, "Did you hear this?" I was like, "Isn't he a little bit old to play Hal Jordan?" I would think.
Yeah,
definitely, it's definitely an interesting choice.
Yeah, this was all from, I think, Jeff Snyder. The quote unquote insider who gets some stuff right and some stuff wrong. But he also said that they had Matthew McConaughey and Ewan McGregor on the back burner.
Ewan McGregor.
So yeah, he said they want to take the Lanterns project seriously in the DC universe. James Gunn did. So the fact that all these big names are coming through is, I guess, good, but it's all rumors because who the fuck knows? I mean, I don't know. I saw a comment that said Miles Teller, and I thought he'd be great. He's way younger. He kind of has that Josh Brolin look. He's got So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
What I want to know is, so what's interesting is, like, I guess for the world he's developing, it could make sense because all the information coming out about Superman and like this DCU is a world where heroes have existed for a long time. Like, apparently with Superman, I saw a tweet about it the other day. I don't know which, it wasn't a leak or anything. It was just like a report from people who have seen whatever of Superman is like cut together, that it's like very, very good. I just sounded like Trump. It's very, very good. Believe me, I've seen it. But apparently it's very good, and it's very different from the Zack Snyder DC, which is like, in Zack Snyder's DC, it's like the world is becoming introduced to all these metahumans. Whereas in Superman, this new one, like, heroes have existed for a really long time, and we're going to explore, like, how their existence has shaped the world. Like, it's a very different world than ours. Like, it's very clear not real life. Like, it's a fantasy world with superheroes, which is cool because, as we've talked about before, that's always been one of the big differences that separates the DC and Marvel in the comic books, is that Marvel takes place in our real world with, it's like New York City and like all these real places with heroes in it. And Marvel even had a more sort of realistic approach to their powers. It's always like a chemical spill or a fucking super soldier serum or an experiment or a scientist. DC takes place in a very fantasy world. It's Metropolis and Gotham and Themyscira and fucking Night City or whatever the fuck it's called, where who am I thinking of? Dick Grayson, Nightwing, whatever city he's from. It's not Night City. I think that's Cyberpunk. But you get what I'm saying. It's like a fantasy.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to. I love that intro.
It's a fantasy world with and the heroes are more fantastical too. It's like a fucking magic ring from space. It's a fucking alien who's like the last survivor of his planet being destroyed. It's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Batman's probably the most grounded hero in the DC, really. So it's cool that it's cool that James Gunn is like really putting a focus on that aspect of it. Because, in movie world, forget comics now, we've gotten almost 20 years of Marvel. Like, you got to distinguish yourself. I think that's one of the reasons why the DCEU failed. One of the many reasons why it failed is that it didn't really do much to distinguish itself. It tried to do the same thing, maybe just be a little bit darker. You know what I mean? So.
Yep.
So that's cool. So maybe all that to say, an older Hal Jordan could work, perhaps.
It could. I don't know. I'd rather see. I don't know. And I'm okay with some of these guys coming over because, obviously, Brolin's been in the DC before. He's
twice
done Marvel now a couple times.
Yeah, he was Cable.
As well.
And of course, Thanos.
Yeah, he was also Jonah Hex for the DC.
That's true. I forgot about Jonah Hex. That movie was so bad.
But yeah, okay. Speaking about people coming over, James Gunn revealed that he talks to Chris Pratt all the time about him joining the DCU.
Yeah, I saw that.
I guess some fans were asking him about it on Threads, and he's like, "What are you even talking about?" And then they explained the rumor to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well I talk to him all the time about it, but that's about it. He didn't confirm or deny or say anything."
Isn't he voicing Crypto, or am I making that up?
I don't.
Wasn't that like a rumor, like right at the beginning?
I don't know. I don't know. That one doesn't ring a bell. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. I might have just made it up. Who knows?
So, and along that line, Bautista was actually asked about joining, and he gave a very open-ended answer. He said, obviously, he would love to work. He would take the opportunity to work with his past castmates inside or outside of the superhero genre. Obviously, he's working with Palm. And
have you seen him?
Latest superhero comedy that's coming out. But no, I have not seen him since The Cabin, Knock at the Door. I think that's the last thing I really saw him in.
So check this out.
In the Woods or whatever it's called.
I hate to jump on the bandwagon, but he like deflated.
Did he go vegan or did he go Ozempic?
I think he just got off of fucking juice. Like, I hate to be that guy, but like,
who was about, sorry?
Batista. I put it in the Discord in our messages.
Oh yeah, he put it in. Yeah, like a Bautista in the Discord, Marvin. Holy shit.
Oh my god, it's probably both. No more juice.
Yeah, I don't know.
And a special
weight loss drug. Yeah.
I mean, I understand that crazy. Is trying to make a push to be, I guess, a more serious actor, right? So I'm assuming he's trying to just like not be a fucking giant anymore.
Losing the bulk, yeah.
But that is a dramatic transformation. One that I don't think is like natural. It can't be.
Right.
And I hate to jump on the bandwagon, but like, he looks like a different human being.
You're gonna have to post a before and after picture in the video for people to know what we're talking about right now.
I could, but just go check it out. Like, just search Dave Bautista weight loss.
Yeah, he looks like he's under 200 pounds here.
I mean,
it's crazy because at one point
he talked about it in a recent interview.
265. He said he was 315 when at Knock at the Cabin.
He said, quote, "I'm getting super trimmed. This is probably the lightest I've been since I was 19 years old. The heaviest I've ever been is 370. When I started Deacon, I was about 325. Throughout most of my wrestling career, I was about 290. Now I'm about 240. And
240.
I went a year and a half ago for Knock at the Cabin. I went 315. And that's when the nightmare started, getting that weight off, which has been a challenge. Now I'm really particular about my diet," he added. So maybe he did just do like dieting and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of his size was muscle. So I guess if you stop training like that, eventually
you can shed that
That's
if you
true.
shed it properly. Yeah. But if you shed it quick, you get saggy man boobs.
Okay. Well,
anyhow, okay. Well, on the continuation of James Gunn confirming or denying, he did lock down some stuff for Peacemaker, which I'm actually interested about now because I still haven't watched season 1. But he basically confirmed that season 2 will premiere in late 2025 after the premiere of Superman movie in July.
mm-hmm.
So Superman will happen and then Peacemaker will happen and everything that happened in Superman will be in Peacemaker. But season 1 of Peacemaker, there's really no reference to this greater world, is there?
At the end there is.
Okay, we get Superman references.
Well, the whole show they talk about Superman. You watched Peacemaker, didn't you?
No, that's what I
you
said.
still haven't seen it.
Season 1.
Yeah, so there are several jokes about Justice League characters. There's like a running joke throughout the whole thing that Aquaman fucks fish. And there is a joke or two about Superman that like it's just funny. It's just stupid shit that Peacemaker says.
Right.
Like I bet Superman likes, I forget what he says. Something about like eating shit or something like that. I don't know.
Right. Okay, well, never mind then.
But there are cameos too, not to spoil anything,
Right.
but if you haven't seen it by now, I mean, whatever. There are cameos. I'll just say that. And it's the Justice League from the DC EU. So
gotcha.
I don't know how they're going to amend that, but.
All right. Well, now we know when season 2 is coming out, so I can watch season 1. I know I have a deadline now.
Season 1's great. I would watch it again, to be honest. Did you watch it, Marvin? I don't remember.
This is Peacemaker? Or
Yeah, Peacemaker.
No.
Yeah,
no,
Peacemaker.
You haven't, okay.
John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You Can't See Me.
Great album.
Well, yeah.
Is it actually?
We talked about it.
Hang on, wait. We got to explore this.
You
John
never
Cena,
listened to his album?
I didn't even know he made an album. It was a rap album? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Is it actually good?
It's called You Can't See Me.
I think you're biased because you love him. You think he's a fucking good wrestler too.
He's one of the greatest wrestlers of
Look
all
at the
time.
bias. The smile. It's like, it's just, you're a
The album came
shambles.
out in 2005, though. That was
my
great.
God.
That's some bangers.
Marvin loves John Cena. Look at the smile. He can't even wipe it off. He's no Rock, Marvin. That's all we're just going to say. You know, that is what it is. The Rock never put out an album. That's fair. But
Nope.
Oh, so we're in the news. I want to just talk about this real quick. I don't know if you were going to cover it, but I know neither of you have played the game more than me, or at least as much as me. But did you guys see the trailer for the Minecraft movie?
I didn't. I heard things.
Everybody's shitting
People
on
was
it.
upset about.
Yeah, everybody's shitting
some
on
black
it.
girl or something.
No. People are, well, I haven't seen any of that. People are upset that I've seen, including people who play the game for like YouTube and stuff. It looks nothing like Minecraft. It looks like it has nothing to do with Minecraft. It looks like they ran it through an AI and like printed it. It's unbelievable. So much so that like there's a scene in the trailer where like there's sunlight. Obviously, when you light stuff, you know, you have a light source. So if the light is hitting me from here, let's say this pink light, it needs to be consistent. But in this one scene in the trailer, the light is like hitting them at like different angles that don't make sense. And it just looks like a movie that was made by AI. And then, of course, they put Jack Black in it, who's like the most generic, like buffoon that you could possibly hire, which is unfortunate because Jack Black is really fucking funny. And it's just, I don't know. I was just wondering if you guys had seen it. It looks really fucking bizarre.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I heard some talking about it.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of the game or the lore. Not
there is
really
no lore.
Interested in the movie.
There is no lore. That's why when I heard that they were making a fucking movie, I was like, why? What is this going to be about? Yeah. But anyhow.
It's weird that they're taking the route and not making it anything about the game. Like, what's the other Borderlands? And that one was a flop.
Oh.
Well, there was Borderlands. I mean,
I've played the Borderlands games and they're fun, and I have no interest in watching the movie. Zero.
No.
I would have had interest if they didn't fuck it. But.
Yeah, no. I would have watched it. They tried to make some fucking dumb Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff. Right. Like, and also, no offense, but you put Kevin Hart in anything, like it's not automatically not good half the time. Like if he's in it, there's some funny movies with him in it, but he is not.
You gave him half the time, so I can give you a pass.
If you need like an actor to just fill a spot and say dumb shit, you hire Kevin Hart. That's like that's his role in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But anyhow, sorry to sidetrack us. What else you got for us, Dusty?
Well, we talked about a little bit with Feige, but Disney Plus special presentations.
Yep.
Brad Winterbaum, producer and head of TV at Marvel, teased some surprise special presentations are on the way.
Yeah.
Who knows what fucking characters those are going to be? Obviously, what I said we started about it. Feige, he said we're not going to get anything this year. We're not going to get anything next year. So we got some surprises and look forward to. And that's probably the last time I'll report on a Disney Plus special presentation until we actually have a fucking announcement. Because they're not coming out till 2026, and it's just too far away.
Seems like they could
but he also confirmed Blade is still in the works.
It seems like they could lean more into those if they're cutting back on other stuff. Like, because those are less of a commitment. Yeah. They're a lot shorter.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be connected as much. But
yeah, they could be one-offs.
I have a piece of Marvel news that I don't know if you were going to talk about, but did you hear the latest about the Vision show? There's apparently a rumor that, because Dusty did report on it that James Spader is coming back as Ultron.
Yeah, Ultron.
But new rumors suggest that this might be the human form of Ultron, which I think is
human form
at some point happened in the comic book.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So I wonder if we're just gonna get James Spader just like as a person.
I don't know. That'd be weird. I wonder if he's lost any weight. I haven't seen any pictures of him in a while.
What was the last thing he was in? He was in that show that ran for a really long time.
He was Blacklist. Boston Legal was like the Blacklist. Yeah, he was in Boston Legal and then the Blacklist. But he had a belly.
Remember him as the like evil rich kid in Pretty in Pink? That was a good role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
What else you got for us, Dusty?
Right. Winterbaum also confirmed Blade is still in the works.
Every week with Blade, God.
Yeah. While it was slated for 2025, Feige never mentioned it when he was talking about the slate of upcoming movies. He obviously talked about Cap, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four. So it's probably delayed. He also talked a little bit. He's been on a bit of a entertainment.
Who's Feige?
Run, I guess. No, Brad Winterbaum.
Oh.
Because he was talking about Daredevil Born Again as well. He said, I'll tell you, some of the most brutal action we've ever brought to the screen is coming in Daredevil Born Again, which isn't a horror show.
Saw that.
But really, it packs a lot of power and there's a lot of visceral action, to say the least.
I saw that they said it probably goes further than even the Netflix series.
Yeah.
Which has me a little bit concerned because, as we know, these executives, they hear a thing and they have like no ability to like process logically. So like, obviously they hired Robert Downey Jr. in a fucking full panic. It's like, oh, we need to go back to work. Like, so there's that. But also, this seems to be like everybody was worried that like Disney wouldn't do like violence and stuff. Like, and now they're like, yeah, no, it's violent. We promise you, it's so violent. It's more violent than even the first series. Like, I hope it's not like fucking stupid where it's like forced and just like fake and I like, you know what I mean? I mean,
Blade feels a little over the top, but it feels pretty good for over the top because, I mean, not Blade, Deadpool and Wolverine, the Deadpool stuff, the violence.
No, yeah, that was
kind of over the top, but it feels measured.
I just want it to feel natural. Well. I just don't want it to feel like they're doing it to like just be like, see, we could do violence.
Appease everyone.
Yeah. Speaking of, actually, what the fuck was I gonna say? I don't know. Continue. There's something that popped into my head that I saw. I don't remember what it was.
All right. Well, let's go back to. Did you watch the deleted scenes from Endgame, Dan?
I probably have seen them at some point, but I don't recall them off the top of my head.
Catherine Langford played Morgan Stark.
Yep.
An older version.
Yeah,
Tony's daughter.
Apparently, he sees her.
She's rumored to. Yeah, she. There's a whole scene. It's about 5 minutes. It's they exchange pleasantries. Pretty good.
But it's in the Soul Stone. It's in that realm. I think is where it is.
Yeah. Correct. She is rumored to reprise her role as Morgan Stark. The character only showed up in that deleted scene. But we're not sure whether or not she's going to be the 616 version of Morgan or maybe a variant. That's unknown. This is a leak from our boy, My Time to Shine. Hello.
You just reminded me of what I was going to say. I don't know if it's related, but some leaker said the same thing about this version of Doctor Doom, that like it is not, in fact, the 616 version of Doctor Doom.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine they're doing because everything's variants. Like they've already showed the hand with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Well, we had assumed that when they announced the Robert Downey Jr. thing, but it makes it even more egregious because it's like you're just bringing him back to fucking save your ass. Like, what's the point of that?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have him come and play Doom for a movie, and then just redo the whole shit and be like, "This is the real Doctor Doom." Everybody, like, it's so dumb. It's gonna just confuse and annoy everyone.
Yeah.
Who aren't like initiated by like comic book brain. You and I could handle it and be like, yeah, whatever, fine. But whatever.
Well,
I love Robert Downey Jr. So.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get me more
by
annoyed?
Different timelines? Yeah. Matt Reeves. He was talking to Total Film Magazine. We talked about this. It was pretty much rumored. Rob is not going to be in the TV show. Just a confirmation. He said, I'd rather take the Band-Aid off now. We did talk about all that, but we felt the best way to do this was to go on a grand exploration of a guy grabbing for power in this moment. So it feels like the Penguin show is going to be specific to right after the tumultuous events of the Batman, and he's going to be grabbing power, and the Batman will not be in it for sure.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
It's cool. Give us a show to whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't care about the Penguin. I'm just gonna say it. I know, Marvin, you're excited for it. I'm sorry to be this guy, but like,
I think Colin's gonna. I don't know. I'm
not saying he's not.
He was the star of
the
Batman. I think.
I think he was very good in the. What is happening? I think he was very good in the Batman. I don't know.
All right.
Don't care. I did see. Hang on. I'm sorry. I don't know what I saw, but I did see a thing. Somebody said they basically echoed what I say all the time. Like, yo, if we're doing like a new Batman run, like, fuck off with Penguin and Catwoman and Joker and Two-Face. Like, give us some other villains. And I don't know who it was. It wasn't anybody official. It was just like a Twitter user or something, or fucking person who writes about movies. But yes, please. Batman's rogue
gallery. How far down the list of enemies do you go?
I don't know, but Batman has the best villains in all of comics, and they're all cool and good. Give us some of that shit. Give us Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is a fucking dope villain. Give us fucking
Bring Arnie back.
Bring what? Bring Arnie back. Chill. Oh yeah, you love that fucking movie.
I'm Mr. Icicle. I'm Mr. Snow.
I forgot about that shit.
The shit was fire.
Just give us some different villains. Poison Ivy, like a good version of Poison Ivy would be cool.
Yeah, Poison Ivy, a good,
a good version.
Yeah, and Uma Thurman was good, but the character was kind of ass in the movie.
Killed it.
Yeah, she.
Well, Batman has no good female villains.
I disagree with that. I mean, there's really only.
Isn't that what what's his name said when they talked about?
He didn't say no good. He said there's not enough. Pangolin.
Right.
No, there's not enough good villains. There really aren't. There's Catwoman, Ivy, and Harley Quinn. Who else? That's it. That I could think of off the top of my head. But anyhow, what else you got for us, Dusty?
Okay. Well, according to The Direct, Disney will be cutting down their Star Wars releases to just one show per year. So
what a travesty.
We were getting this flood of shows: The Acolyte, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Andor, Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Bad Batch, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi, Visions.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
It would have been funny,
year, guys.
It would have been great though had they released Visions and the Vision show at the same time. That could have been neat.
Yeah. And WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision, just all at once.
Season 2. Yeah. That's the rumor. They're going to cut it down. I mean, it's not surprising. A lot of these shows I ran through are already canceled or not going through again. Like The Acolyte's done, Obi-Wan done, Ahsoka, Andor. Andor's got one more season. That's going to lead into Rogue, right? And then Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Mandalorian. That's all going to lead into the Dave Filoni movie, and those will probably all end. And then we'll get a Star Wars reboot into whatever timeline they give us, I guess.
Well, we're still getting the Daisy Ridley movie that's supposedly coming, right? That's in the pipeline.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
It's not been shelved yet. Yeah. So we'll see.
They could continue with what they started with that trilogy. It's just that trilogy was bad. I don't think Rey was necessarily a bad character. They could do some interest. They could still salvage it.
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of salvaging things, X-Men 97 still cracking along. But creator Beau DeMayo.
Yeah,
he went on his OnlyFans and went on about a 30-minute tirade about how Marvel is the problem and not him. This is a short little quote. He says, "These allegations of egregious misconduct are false. The rumors being spread around me online are lies, and they are offensive, but more concerning is that they are a smear campaign designed to discredit my credibility in order to cover up the egregious, prejudicial misconduct stretching from select crew members on X-Men 97 all the way up to the top at Marvel Studios."
So it's because he's black.
So, I don't know.
He's doing the Dr. Disrespect excuse.
Yeah.
That's literally exactly what Dr. Disrespect said. Did you guys watch his stupid bullshit for 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not. I was never really a big Doc fan.
No, I mean, I don't really care. It's just, it's the same thing. How it's funny how all these predators probably pull from the same play. Like, they pull from the same books, like Chapter 11. Your follow-up statement.
I'm the victim.
Yeah, I'm the victim. Literally what Doc said. He's like, "Oh, this is Twitch, and like they're coming after me, and blah 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 blah." It's like, bro, like what? Shut up.
Yeah. So we got that. I wasn't gonna go into too much detail, but I did want to report that he's starting to talk back. So we'll see where that goes. I don't know if any lawsuits or anything will come from it. Maybe some cease and desist.
It's also funny that he's doing it on his OnlyFans, where people have to go to subscribe to hear him talking about it.
Well, that's apparently also
fucking ass cheeks.
His OnlyFans. His OnlyFans is one of the reasons he got fired, allegedly, too, is he was doing some inappropriate thing, messaging some inappropriate people in there. But who knows? Anyhow, on to back to Marvel. John Watts is out. And Daniel
Destin.
Cretton
Daniel Destin
is in. Yeah. Destin Daniel Cretton is in for the fourth installment.
Destin Daniel Cretton, sorry.
That's what I said, yeah. He's tapped for the director for the fourth installment of Spider-Man, featuring Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
He also created the upcoming Wonder Man series. He's the director for Shang-Chi. So if you're a fan, you're a fan. If you're not, you're not. There's also some rumors that Andrew Garfield is going to possibly return because of what happened in the last one. He remains tight-lipped on that. He's been asked about it a couple times. He's pretty good about that stuff. He's no Tom Holland. He's not a leaker, so.
He kept his mouth shut leading up to Far From Home. Yeah. He never really talked about it much. Yeah.
He toes the line.
I think.
That's a rumor though that we could see. Now, I don't know that Toby would come back, but it would be interesting to see Tom and Andrew back together because amazing and sensational, right?
Well,
yeah, it'd be amazing and sensational.
I'm sure they're all coming back for, fucking Secret Wars, but I want to be clear. Probably this is not. This does not speak to John Watts at all. This is his decision, I'm sure, because after the last one, he was pretty vocal about like, oh, I love doing these, but like it's a lot of fucking work and I need a break. So I think bringing in Destin Daniel Cretton is a good choice. He's a good. I mean, I thought Shang-Chi was great for the most part. And I thought that show
it was a fun movie. I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that show that I told you guys about, American Born Chinese, that he directed a couple of episodes of, like, that's a really good show. Well, really good is a stretch. It was a good show. I don't, he executive produced that. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think he's got that like comic book shit down. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, he did direct it. He directed 2 episodes. Okay. But yeah. What else you got for us?
Well, I got one more piece of news unless you got anything else.
No, just a segue.
Okay, just a segue then.
I have the segue this time. Or do you?
Michael Keaton.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wants to change his name.
I saw that actually.
What?
Yeah.
He actually wants to go back to his original name, which is Michael Keaton Douglas. And the reason that he didn't go by Michael Douglas is because there's a guy his age named Michael Douglas whose father, Kirk Douglas, is also a pretty famous actor. The Douglas family is Hollywood celebrity, obviously. So he went by Michael Keaton instead of Michael Douglas or Michael Keaton Douglas. But now he wants to go by Michael Keaton Douglas, and that is my segue. So what is yours, Dan?
Oh, my segue was just about the fact that Beetlejuice opened with $110 million domestically, which is the second.
Might be 140 actually. Well, when I looked
whenever
earlier.
I saw this was on the 8th, so 2 days ago. It is.
Yeah.
It opened to.
I think this weekend it hit 140.
Yeah. So opening weekend, 110 million domestically. Second best opening ever in September. It outgrossed the first film's global total. The third biggest domestic opening of 2024, and happens to be the second film of Tim Burton's to be certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So that was my segue. But thank you for the news, Dusty. As always, we appreciate that. But yeah, so let's get into today's review, folks. And that is Beetlejuice. The ghost with the most is back. And if you grew up in the 90s, you're just a fan of Tim Burton, I think, by default. I've always appreciated his creativity and his art style. I love all his I love all his movies. But the original Beetlejuice holds a very special place in my heart, as it does for most people, because it's genuinely a great movie. Marvin, when did you see Beetlejuice, the original? Like later in life or as a kid?
I remember it, so I was old enough.
Okay.
So yeah, it had to be like preteen, probably.
Gotcha. And Dusty, I imagine you saw it as like a young kid, right? Because you're old as fuck.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So the original came out in 1988, and that has a 7.5 on IMDb. But I mean, that was a movie that has had the same effect on pretty much everybody who's seen it, I would imagine, at that time. It holds a very special place in pop culture. And now you guys know I'm very vocal about it. I don't often care for sequels of movies and franchises 30 years after their due date. However, perhaps Hollywood has finally gotten the hang of it, because we've been getting some good sequels to 30-year-old, 40-year-old franchises. We got the Ghostbusters one, which we talked about, we liked. We got recently Beverly Hills Cop, which we all liked. Now Beetlejuice. Did it satisfy and did it live up to the original? Let's
see.
So, of course, directed by Tim Burton, written by Tim Burton, and the original cast is all back, save for a few names. We got Michael Keaton reprising his role as Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder as Lydia, Catherine O'Hara as Delia, and then some newcomers. We got Monica Bellucci as the scorned ex-wife of Beetlejuice, Dolores. We got Justin Theroux as Rory, and Jenna Ortega as Astrid, and Willem Dafoe as Wolf Jackson, who might have been my favorite part of the whole movie, and a cast of other people.
Right.
You talked about it last week, I think, during the news, but I was definitely a little disappointed that the Barbara and what's his name from the original weren't in it.
They were so good.
Adam and Barbara.
Gina Davis and Baldwin.
Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. And the reason I'm a little... What's that?
I think they're the Maitlands, right?
The Maitlands, yep. And
the Maitlands.
They mention them in the movie, but very briefly, just to be like, yeah, whatever.
They moved on.
They moved on. I don't know behind the scenes, maybe like what went on that they weren't interested maybe in coming back, or they didn't have the budget to bring them back or something. But
yeah,
the story that they told in this movie, I feel like would have been improved greatly by having them involved. So I don't know if there was something that went on behind the scenes, but we'll get into that. So I was just a little bit disappointed. And also Jeffrey Jones as Charles Dietz was not back in the movie. I mean, he was, but like not really. But yeah, so what did you think of it? Let's start with Marvin.
I thought it was good. I felt like it did justice as a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
It had some pretty funny moments. I was laughing, not as much as the one we watched before it, obviously, but
which one? You mean the original?
No, the old school.
Oh, old school. Yeah, you're talking about Sense of Laughter. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It felt like they had a lot of ideas, and it was a bit all over the place, but I think I still had a good time watching it overall. I don't know if I'm misremembering, but I don't know if Keaton had the same charisma of Beetlejuice as I remember from the original. Maybe he's just a little bit older. He's just not really putting his all into it, but like, I just remember he was a little more animated and like, just more like pizzazz or something in the original.
I felt similar, actually. It's funny you mentioned that. And I almost thought like he had like a weird like mumble to him almost, and I don't know.
It's like he couldn't get the voice back.
Yeah,
the way he did it originally.
Yeah, and I mean, let's face it, he's older,
and
whatever.
It's been a while. Like I can't remember how to do that shit.
Yeah, he talked about it. It's like you have to revisit a character that you created years ago, but also
yeah, that's tough.
Back then he was a comedy actor. Like he was he was fucking funny in those 80s movies that Michael Keaton was in. Like he was funny.
Right.
And
he talks about this role too.
Yeah.
The first role, he said, I got the script and I turned it down, and then I got the script again and I read it, and they're like, you should try it. And he's like, I don't get it. And then I got the script again and they said I should try it. And I went out and I met Tim and he showed me some stuff, and then I got it. And then I went home and I created this character. And so when I showed up on set, like I was like, how is this? And he's like, yeah, you've actually figured it out. So that's kind of like a lot of Beetlejuice's weird stuff on his face, his hair and shit. Like Michael Keaton did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What did you think about it, Dusty?
I agree with Marvin a lot. I think this movie tried to do a lot, but did little to nothing. The ex-wife storyline was just like she was just chasing him till the very end and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like we and then that was the actual like Easter egg, like because in the first one when he tries to marry Lydia, he pulls the ring. Finger out of his
don't worry about her.
Pulls the, and then he's like, don't worry about her. And then
I had said that when the trailer came out, I noticed it. I was like, did you guys notice that she's missing a finger? I was like, she's definitely the ex-wife or the scorned lover that he pulled the wedding ring off of.
And she kills a couple of goons in the dead world.
Not even goons.
And then she gets eaten by a sandworm. And it's like, what?
Danny DeVito got slurped up.
Yeah, which was great. That was
that
fun.
anime or that like was hilarious.
Then, Jenna Ortega's character, like that was a little bit on the nose, obvious. Like, oh yeah, mom sees dead people. She doesn't believe it. She runs into this guy she likes. You can't see the parents' faces, obviously. They're all
that
dead.
was straight up from American Horror Story season 1.
I got fucking debated. Well, actually,
I don't know if you remember that.
No, I never watched that show, but I could tell you it's American Horror Story for sure stole it from like Goosebumps because that's like a Goosebumps story from when I used to fucking read books in fucking elementary school. Girl
falls in love with ghosts.
I'm not gonna lie, I got so debated by that because I went into the movie remembering what Dusty reported about Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, and I was like, there's no way they just don't have them even in like a little cameo. And then she meets this kid and he takes her into the house, and they made like a concerted effort to not show the mom's face and not show the dad's face.
Oh yeah.
And then Lydia's like, oh, we found a loophole, and they moved on. I thought for sure when they didn't show the faces that they found a way to resurrect them. And that was them. God. And it would have been a little cameo. And it would have been so beautiful and sweet that like she falls in love with like their kid. But that was awesome. That was not the case, unfortunately. No. But yeah.
That was a little interesting or weird choice that they made him evil and
also made no sense.
Yeah.
So
they just wanted to explore more and show more of the afterlife.
Did you have any
needed a reason to do it?
And then the whole wedding thing, like her boyfriend, husband, fiance, like he just an unlikable asshole. Like you're not supposed to like him the entire movie. He doesn't do anything redeeming. I mean, he kind of does, but he kind of doesn't. And just like it, just some of the stuff, it felt a little plain and again, unfinished. Like they tried to do a whole lot and they did it poorly. But there were some funny parts. I agree with Barvin. It was a good. Would I recommend it again? Would I watch it again? No, probably not. But it was a decent sequel. I guess it was all right.
I did. I'm a little bit torn on it. Now again, I said you started rolling your eyes when you weren't rolling your eyes, but you were like, really? When I said that I think it would have been improved. By bringing those characters in, and I'll explain why in a second. But I just want to say how much Beetlejuice meant to me as a kid. Like it was like Superman, Batman, and Beetlejuice. Like those were the big three that I used to watch on repeat. In fact, I grew up in a house with like my whole family living together in one house, Italians. My uncle's room, I don't know why, even to this day, I never even bothered to ask, but one of his walls in his bedroom was like completely made of cork. It was like a huge like pin board. I don't know what it was.
That's hilarious.
I actually have to ask somebody in my family about it.
Like, what is that about? Yeah.
But I used to draw with chalk doors on his wall, and I used to get in trouble for it all the time because I used to try to knock on the door to the afterlife.
Yeah.
And get in. Mm-hmm. So I've always, the movie opened up with the fucking theme. Like it like really hit me, and I was like, oh man, this is good. There was a lot of little Easter eggs in the movie that referred to the first one, and not tasteless, like, remember this thing? It was just like little in the background stuff that if you notice it, you notice it. Like the fact that Delia donated money to the art wing of the school that what's her Astrid is going
to. The chair was
the statue was the one that like gobbled her up in the original. So there's a lot of little cool cameos.
Yeah, the song throwback during the funeral, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've always loved that the original like introduced this like afterlife bureaucracy that was always like super funny to me. And it always
DMV,
the DMV.
It's hilarious.
People that commit suicide have to be civil servants.
Yeah. And it made more sense to me as I got older, right? Because you go to the DMV, you like deal with this stuff. But the original was like so fucking creative, and like you just said, like
honestly,
like that is such a creative thought that like they have to be civil servants because they've killed themselves.
They were so selfish. They have to sell.
And while I thought that like there were a lot of like things in this that were reminiscent of the original, and it did a good job of like being in the same spirit of the original, I don't think it quite hit the mark. And I don't think it was a bad movie. I did enjoy it, but it did feel a little bit all over the place.
It just wasn't great.
Yeah,
it just wasn't.
They wanted to show a lot.
It wasn't great. It was just just a sequel.
They wanted to show a lot of things, and trying to fit that in an hour and a half is really hard.
See,
they wanted to show the new family, her daughter. They wanted to show more afterlife stuff with Beetlejuice.
Which you said, like, Willem Dafoe was your favorite character. I felt like they showed way too much of him. Almost.
I just thought he was hilarious.
I was like, there was so much. Yeah, I mean, you could have done that with, like, I think Willem Dafoe killed it. He's a great actor. But you could have done that with, like, a Christopher Walken or really anybody. It wasn't funny, but you didn't need that much time on a guy who, his shtick. Like,
I just think it was funny.
He's a dead actor who tried to do the stunt and died. Like,
but we
spent a lot of time on that.
I just thought it was funny that he was like an actor who played a cop and then became a cop in the afterlife.
Yeah.
I just thought he was funny. That's really all.
I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know if it was intentional. The whole that they probably wouldn't do that. It would have been a little tasteless. But
what
the fact that him as an actor died from a live grenade, and Alec Baldwin wasn't in.
I don't know if that was intentional or not. Maybe that's why he didn't even make the movie. But
I was like, oh God, that's a little yikes.
Yeah. So this actually reminded me a lot of Beverly Hills Cop that we recently watched, the new one. In that movie didn't really have that good of a story. Like, it was just is what it was,
Yeah.
But it was reminiscent of the original a little bit, enough so that it had that feel, it had that vibe, and you're really just watching it to revisit these old characters that you loved and the actors that played them.
Pretty much.
This was kind of like that. And I think the story, unfortunately, didn't really do anything. And there was too many so for one, Monica Bellucci's character, completely purposeless. Like, absolutely no reason for existing in this movie. The plot.
The mom, right?
No, Monica Bellucci was his ex-wife, the one who stayed with her.
The
soul
ex-wife.
sucker.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like, she has no reason for existing because she didn't do anything. She just chased him for a little bit, sucked some souls, and got eaten by a sandworm. Like, what was the point of her? At first, during the course of the movie, I even put it in my notes. I was like, oh, she's just a plot driver. She's just the one to make Beetlejuice like agree to help because he needs help as well. But that didn't even become the case because he didn't need help, really. Like, she didn't pose any real threat.
It was just to show the flashback of Beetlejuice speaking another language and all that. It was just so fragmented that was the problem.
So her existence didn't really make any sense. Like Dusty said, the story with the kid who murdered his family and like is trying to steal Astrid's soul, like, also kind of pointless. It was just a reason to get Astrid into the afterlife when really what this movie was about is what Beetlejuice was always about, and that is like moving on and like enjoying the time you have while you're alive. Like, while Beetlejuice is a funny movie and a dark comedy and stuff, that's what it is at the core of the movie.
Yeah.
And Lydia says it at the end of this movie in a dream sequence: make memories with people you love rather than be haunted by them later. Like, that's what Beetlejuice was always about, deep down. And
this felt way out of that. Yeah.
But
like the whole marriage proposal at the funeral, I was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah. but that's what this movie wanted to be about. It was there. Like, it's about moving on, and it's about putting your demons aside and like whatever. Like, Lydia she's haunted by the fact that Beetlejuice tried to fucking like steal her into the afterlife or whatever in a comedic way. Like, she had to live with that, and she also sees ghosts, which is like another traumatizing thing. That's cool stuff to explore. She is she has like relationship issues with her daughter, just as she had with Delia. And like they talk about their relationship in the movie, her and Delia, but they resolved it off screen some point in the last 30 years. Like, well, I grew to like you. Like, I would have loved to like learn about that, because that's what this movie is about. It's about like loved ones and family and like valuing your time that you spend here. And Beetlejuice too, there's a lot of negative reviews about this movie that seem to be like really hard pressed on the fact that like, oh, Beetlejuice wasn't in the movie a lot. It's like, I hate to break it to everybody, Beetlejuice is not the main character, despite the title of the movie being after his name. He is an antagonist in the original one, and he's not the main character. Like, the main character is the couple and Lydia and her family. And that's what that movie is about. It's about family. It's not about Beetlejuice. Like,
yeah, but it's also about like them discovering, the original one is about them discovering to be like learning to live with death, right? Like they're dead. They're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
This one, I mean, I don't know. It felt separated from that, and they're like, grandma dies and grandpa dies, and like when they find out grandma dies, like, oh my gosh, oh that's so like,
yeah,
what? Like,
well,
where everybody's torn up that grandpa died, and then it's a joke that grandma died because she bought a snake with actual teeth in it.
Well, so I think the funny, well, I don't know. I think the gag with that is that she finally like succumbed to her own hubris, I guess, because she was always like full of herself, as
reckless ridiculousness. Yeah.
But like this.
So real quick, I think the problem, you said Beetlejuice isn't the main character, and I agree. I think the problem though with him not being the main character is that I didn't really care about anything outside of them showing him and the afterlife, because the story wasn't going anywhere outside of that.
No, I agree. But it's like the Michael Myers syndrome that I always complain about with Halloween. It's like Halloween is like Michael Myers is not the main character, like Laurie is. And these people's weird attachment to Michael Myers is like nonsense, in my opinion, as a fan. It's just, you know what I'm saying? So this is kind of the same. It's like, obviously, Beetlejuice, the character, is ingrained into pop culture and you want to see him, but to go in expecting him to be the main character is not the right way of going into it. It just so happens, like you said, all the surrounding stuff wasn't as strong as you would have hoped it would have been.
Yeah.
But I want to just explain. So I started out saying that I think the movie would have been strengthened by the inclusion of Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis's characters, is because that original movie was about what you just said. It's about family. It's about dealing with death and all this stuff, or coming to terms with your own mortality and all this stuff in a funny and like lighthearted comedic way, and in Tim Burton style. Well, this was the same thing. And you had like the seeds of a really strong story about like Lydia and Astrid having this like, I think that was a genuinely interesting
falling out because of dad.
Falling out. Like, she sees ghosts, but refuses to try to see her husband who died because she can't deal with the fact that he died. Like, that was interesting. And that's an interesting concept to have your daughter pull away from you and become a skeptic and like all this stuff. And, you know, you could have told, like, the story they told in this movie was the mending of this relationship. But like,
lots of opportunity missed.
Yeah, but nothing that happened in the movie like really meant anything. They have like a really nice, like heartwarming moment with the dad finally, but he's in it for like 2 seconds and you're like, wait, what? Like, I thought that would have been the culmination of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
And that he could have been the hero, but like, it was such an afterthought. It kind of felt bizarre. So yeah, I mean, I think I again, I have to refer to it again, as I often do. Like, you take Ghostbusters Afterlife, and like the central plot of the movie was like this family mending wounds with their dad and grandpa who passed away.
A loss.
And it's also us, the audience, like coming to terms with the loss of Harold Ramis and like the loss of these larger than life characters and actors who we've grown up with. Like, they're done. They're going to die soon. They're old. Their careers are coming to an end. And so that movie wove those things in perfectly. This didn't really do that. The strength of this movie lies in the fact that it was funny most of the time, I thought. And the acting was great. I think from top to bottom, the cast was great. Specifically Catherine O'Hara. She's like So good. She always
amazing,
is.
Yeah.
I thought Winona Ryder was good. I thought Michael Keaton, aside from like the little gripes that you and I talked about, I thought he was mostly good. You could tell he kind of like didn't really fully get back into like the Beetlejuice thing, but I think he was good enough. Justin Theroux was funny. Willem Dafoe was funny. I'm sorry. Thought Jenna Ortega did an amazing job. I think she's always good in movies that I've seen her in. Matter of fact, I think you and I, despite hating fucking Scream 17 or whatever it was, we praised her in it.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think the movie's bad. It's just not great. You know, you get the Danny Elfman score, so it's going to be good. You get like pretty much everything you're showing up for. You just don't get like a great plot.
Yep.
Really. You know, it was silly.
You get some nostalgia, but it's a letdown overall. Yeah.
Yeah, it was silly and fun, and I liked a lot of it, but you know, I don't think it's not something I don't think I might. I mean, maybe I would go back and watch it again, but I don't know that I would be like, man, I have to sit down and watch this again.
It just made me want to watch the original.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
See, I watched them back to back. I
should have.
I wanted to. I didn't have the time, but again, the original's so deeply ingrained into my brain and memory.
Yeah. Like this, because even the song throwback from the original was good, like during that funeral scene, but they tried to kind of recreate it towards the end.
Yeah, at the wedding.
And it didn't really hit the same at all to me.
There were a couple of weird things.
Like even with the people dancing and stuff, I was like, it wasn't the same.
Like the claymation cutaway thing they did to show how Charles actually died, like that was bizarre and felt out of place.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The whole flashback to like Beetlejuice being a human grave robber.
That was so weird.
Talking in Spanish.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
It was so weird. Yeah.
And I feel like there's like jokes and stuff that were written into this that I'm like not privy to.
Yeah, I mean,
like
that
inside
kind of stuff
jokes.
I gotta get. Well, you're going back to it. He's taking you back to a time where he was, and that's what they would have spoken wherever he was at the time.
He wasn't Spanish. So. Was he? I don't know. Was he? Maybe.
The Spanish plague, probably.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah. That's probably right.
He was a grave robber during the Spanish plague.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. So yeah, I don't know. I think it could have been way better had they just really tightly focused on those themes of family and loss and dealing with those things. And man, I wish Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin were back for this because that, like I just said, if they were that couple, like it would have just brought the whole plot back together, or if they were in it somehow, like because it makes no sense that they're not in this. I mean, I guess they say like, oh,
yeah, seeing them as mature ghosts who know what they're doing now, whereas in the first one they had no clue. That would have been fun and cool.
Yeah, but, and I guess like the explanation is like, oh, we found a loophole and they moved on, but like you were living with them when we left the first one. They were such a huge part of your life. They were like practically raising you. They wanted a kid always. That's the whole point of that movie is they wanted a kid and couldn't have one. And Lydia kind of becomes their adopted kid in a way.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a big ball drop in my opinion. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't really love it. I did genuinely think it was funny though a lot of the time. And the funniest moment for me, I must have rewound it like 56 times because Catherine O'Hara's reaction and delivery was so funny. But it's at the funeral when the priest comes up to her and says, "Be comforted in the knowledge that he is in a far better place. Angels are guiding him towards everlasting light. May his soul fly through their gates like birds he adored so much and soar over the fields of Elysium to the glory that is thine." And she just goes, What? It was so fucking funny. Yeah, I rewound it like literally 50 times because that's like the reaction.
That was her.
It's like, what the fuck are you saying?
But that's like her reaction too. So.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny too about her? Like, she's great, obviously. She has gotten a lot of like praise in recent years due to her role in Schitt's Creek, and she is fucking hilarious in that show. If you guys haven't watched Schitt's Creek, you absolutely have to watch. It's one of the best shows I think ever made. But I forgot who she was basically in the original Beetlejuice because of her role in Schitt's Creek. I like thought that that's just who she is basically, but she had no problem slipping back into Delia. Like, she was perfect, I thought.
See, I always see her as Kevin's mother. I don't even know what her. I just know her as Kevin's mother.
Yeah. Yep. I thought that I liked Jenna Ortega's character for the most part. Like, it was just a little bit of nothing. I thought Winona Ryder did a good job. Like, she was definitely different than she was as like the depressed, like lonely goth girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I gotta hide the pills from my boyfriend, and then he's gonna discover them, and he's gonna throw them away, and then he's gonna dig them individually out of the trash, and we're gonna put them in our mouths. Like, are we dope heads? Is that where we're going with this?
I think he was just playing like the fake supportive guy. And then I thought the guy who played the priest, Burn Gorman, he was funny. He's the guy from he was in Dark Knight Rises. He was the one that gets baned.
Oh yeah, that's who that was.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't get baned. I'm sorry. He becomes Bane's little lackey. But yeah, so I don't know. There was like a lot of like individual ideas, I feel like, that just didn't really come together.
Agreed, yeah.
And that's basically it. A couple things I just wanted to say. So interesting. Apparently, after the success of the original in 1988, a sequel was fast-tracked by the Geffen Film Company. 2 Beetlejuice scripts were commissioned in 1990. The first, Beetlejuice in Love, was penned by screenwriter Warren Scarron, who did a heavy rewrite on the film's first script. In the sequel, Beetlejuice meets Leo, who tragically plummets to his death while proposing to his girlfriend, Julia, on the Eiffel Tower. When Leo enters the afterlife, Beetlejuice escapes to the world of the living and pursues Julia. So the screenwriter died shortly after turning in his first draft. The same year, Tim Burton hired Jonathan Gems to write a potential Beetlejuice sequel called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. Tim thought it would be funny to match the surfing backdrop of a beach movie with some sort of German expressionism because they're totally wrong together. Over the years, I think sequels kept like popping back up, but it wasn't until in 2013 that it got serious when Winona Ryder hinted at a possible return for the sequel as well, saying, "I'm kind of sworn to secrecy, but it sounds like it might be happening. It's 27 years later, and I have to say, I love Lydia Dietz so much. She was a huge part of me. I would be really interested in what she's doing 27 years later." She confirmed that she would only consider making a sequel if Burton and Keaton were involved. In December of 2014, Burton said, "It's a character that I love and miss actually working with Michael." So there was also one other thing I thought was interesting. In 2015, a writer told Entertainment Weekly that the script was finished and that he and Burton intended to start filming Beetlejuice 2 by the end of the year. Both Keaton and Ryder would return in their respective roles. While negotiating to join the Netflix show Stranger Things as Joyce Byers in mid-2015, Ryder accepted that role under the sole request to the Duffer Brothers that if a Beetlejuice sequel ever got greenlit, they would let her take a break from the series to film it. So
nice.
That's pretty cool. And the Duffers agreed, obviously, because they're dope. But yeah, so I don't know. That's why I'm like, I'm extra disappointed.
Kids in the 5th grade.
Well, I mean, listen. No, they're out of high school. They'll be out of high school in this last season. Because the last season they graduated. Wasn't that like their senior year or something? Pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think that's why I'm a little bit like extra disappointed because clearly everybody part of the project, they love the characters, they love the story. Like, I don't think Tim Burton, I don't think it's like a cash grab or anything like that. I think Tim Burton genuinely, I don't think he would have done a sequel had he not thought like there was a good story. And like there was a little good story there. It just wasn't like fully fleshed out.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know who his co-writers were or who was helping him, but he could use some different help.
Yeah. But that's all I got to say. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Glad to see the little head guys again. That was funny.
The Bob was kind of
Oh yeah,
cute.
the Bob. That was the one I would say. Bob was the best part of.
It was cool to see
Beetlejuice working because
yeah, he was in like a call center, like doing scams for people that were recently deceased or whatever. That was pretty funny.
Well, he was a scam artist in the first. I mean, remember in the first one, he was an exorcist to humans. Like he would get humans out of your house if you're a ghost.
Yeah.
So
it's cool to see a little more of that.
Yeah, I think it's funny they like fleshed him out and that he was always like a fucking just a criminal or a crook, doing scammy shit.
And he's a demon, so he's like kind of doing whatever he wants in the DMV afterlife world or whatever, because he was like fucking up the kid that tried to
steal
trade places with
Jeremy.
Yeah.
He sent his ass to hell.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was funny.
But yeah, so it has what is it? A 7 point.
He stomped his passport or his thing with the shit out of luck.
Yeah, and he quoted back to him.
What the fuck? Where they actually bleeped it? I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he quoted back to him. What was the quote? He quoted the person that he quoted to.
Oh, yeah.
Astrid. I can't remember who.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
Yeah. But so it has a 7.1 on IMDb, and it's doing good on Rotten Tomatoes. I think the majority of people really enjoyed it. 7.1 I think is a little bit high. I probably drop it to a 6.5. Marvin?
I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
It was enjoyable. Just a couple things, really. Not too bad, though.
Dusty?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I give it a 6.5. It's definitely watchable, but it's not as good as it would have hoped to have been for somebody with the nostalgia.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it was so close to being like that Ghostbusters Afterlife.
It was
level.
very close. Yeah.
It had all the makings. And again, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It is very good. It's just, I would have liked to see some, because the message that they're trying to convey in both movies is like, like the mending of like family trauma and like loss and like your own mortality. Like those are all themes present in it. Like, so yeah, I don't know. Like the dad thing really fucked me up too. I was like, what the fuck? Like he's just like he saved, like he's just gone. Like that's it. Like that should have been like the culmination of the whole story, in my opinion.
Right.
Because that was the whole reason why they were apart. And when they escaped the afterlife, that movie could have ended where she's like, I'm sorry for everything. I didn't believe you. Boom, done. Like that should have been the ending of the movie, but it wasn't.
Right. Yep.
And I mean, so the movie is successful, right? We got to talk about it. The movie is very successful. We're here with Beetlejuice being the sequel to Beetlejuice. The odds seem high that we're going to get a trilogy, Beetlejuice.
I mean, based on the title, obviously.
Yeah, you got to do the three.
They left it open at the very least.
Not necessarily.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
I think they will, dude.
I think so.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
How could you not do a Beetlejuice?
How old is Tim Burton?
How old is he? Let's see. He ain't that old. He's 66. He's got plenty in the tank. Come on.
Plenty.
He could do one more.
It's whether he wants to. But I think, like, how could you not do?
You wait another 33 years, he'll be Clint Eastwood's age when he directs.
I don't think he'll wait that long. I have a feeling this one will be fast tracked. I bet you'll be reporting. I would say as soon as after the new year, you're going to be reporting, hey, a trilogy is in the works for Beetlejuice.
Well, that's kind of one thing that I thought. Well, when they did the end scene and they showed her pregnant, I was like, oh, what are we going to get another movie in another 30 years? Is that what they're going to do? And then the Beetlejuice baby popped out. And apparently you can buy a 1-to-1 life-size baby Beetlejuice toy now.
That's kind of fun.
I think Nika, NECA, they make a lot of toys. You can get 1-to-1 life-size baby.
Real quick, one more thing. I have a question about the ending.
Yep.
When they said his name 3 times at the end, why did it make him explode versus...
If you say his name in the real world, it sends him back.
Oh, I see. That's right. Okay, I forgot.
Because in the original, if you remember during the wedding, he put the metal plate over her mouth.
To stop him from sending him back.
She kept trying to say it.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. Got it.
There were also one not the harp, but there was, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a cartoon animated series, Beetlejuice, when I was a kid.
Yes.
That was not bad. And there were some elements of that cartoon in this movie, I thought, like that they did callbacks to, which was kind of neat. But yeah. I would see it. I would see it as another sequel if it came down to it. But you know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You know, they recently put Beetlejuice in Multiverses, the fighting game.
Did they actually?
Well. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yep.
I really like Jenna Ortega. I hope she's not getting like typecast. Like she between
like
this,
she's the new Winona.
It's kind of
goth typecast.
It's kind of starting to feel that way between this and Wednesday, which both roles I think she crushed, by the way. Because Wednesday was really good. I loved Wednesday.
Yeah.
I hope she's not getting typecast into that. But yeah, not enough juice, so to speak, in the movie. And I don't mean Beetlejuice himself. I mean just like, juice to the plot. But good enough to watch. Go check it out. Yes. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment down below if you have seen Beetlejuice and let us know your thoughts. Please leave a like.
Join the Discord.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. Join the Discord. It's new. It's fresh. There's plenty of things in there. You could share your thoughts, leave a review, share some recommendations for us as a whole, or stuff you want Marvin to watch and us to talk about.
Trailers, make Marvin watch, recommend.
Yep. On this video here, please leave a like. It's very helpful for the channel. It helps boost us in the all-powerful algorithm. And if you have not done so already, consider subscribing. If it's your first time here, we do these once a week most of the time. So consider checking back next week. But that's going to do it for us. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening, everybody.
See ya.
Costa.